Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Film Busters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusterspod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Or shoot over and get some groovy merchandise at society6.com/filmbusters.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters.
So, regarding the slap heard around the world, thoughts, opinions, as if there hasn't been enough already?
So I will say I'm increasingly getting just so annoyed at the Oscars anyway because of how fucking vain it is, and
well, of course.
So it just pisses me off anyway, and the fact that all people are talking about now is this slap, and they're not talking about the Coda one or the fact that Will Smith's ruined it for himself because a black man won the lead actor, and I don't even have any respect for Will Smith's decision to do that now. Whether it's either way, whatever happened is toxic. I don't believe that someone should go up on stage and slap someone. It's a joke, right? I don't care about the history. It is a joke. So it looked like he was laughing at the joke, right? We all agree with that?
Yeah, until his wife wasn't, though.
Yeah,
and then you can see she was visibly upset, and then he was like, fuck this brick.
So is that whose problem is that? So is it his problem that, oh, she's upset, I was laughing, sorry, but she's upset, I better go up on stage and slap that? That is toxic, right? No one should act like that. Because
but he's obviously seen that she isn't okay with it. She thought he might be okay with it given the surroundings. And he's like, why are you going to embarrass my wife in front of 1 billion people?
He fucking embarrassed her by laughing at the joke.
Well, I tell you, my initial reaction when I saw that video was, yeah, Will Smith was right on a primal level. Defend, someone's made a laughing stock of your wife on national television.
Go about it a better way.
I know, but on a primal level,
okay.
Hang on a minute. It's very easy to say it after the fact. When you are in the moment, we've all done things in the moment that we've regretted afterwards because we've suddenly felt a way. So it's very easy after the fact to say he should have done it differently, but he should have, but he didn't. It was an emotional reaction in the moment. But my sympathies changed. It was never fuck Chris Rock for me. It was always just I can see why Will Smith did that, and I understand. But now, as time's gone on, he's lost my sympathy because I realised how bad of a call it was, and also Chris Rock ultimately, regardless of whatever you think about Chris Rock, whether you find him funny or offensive or whatever, he was doing his job and he got slapped, and he was a fucking professional. He took that slap, he didn't respond, he carried on as flustered as he was, and he did that shit on national television, and now he's walking around knowing that everyone knows that Will Smith just walked up to him, slapped him in the face and sat back down, and Chris Rock did nothing. On many levels, that's a hard thing for Chris Rock to now have to carry, even though he's a funny man and he'll probably try and laugh it off when he addresses it properly. I think for him that is incredibly humiliating for
Do you
him.
reckon he had like producers in his ears just like, please, just whatever you do, move this on, move this on, there'd
have been an element of that for sure, yeah. But I just feel very sorry for him because imagine it happened to us. That is so humiliating.
I feel like that is how most people feel. They feel sorry for him. Hence why his fucking tour sold out. So I don't think he is in a bad position.
I know. I'm about to say I got on the train on Tuesday, and every other poster going down the escalators of Piccadilly Circus was for Chris Rock's tour.
Yeah.
I think it's done good
everywhere.
I mean, surely Chris Rock would have sold out anyway.
Yeah. True. Of course.
Chris Rock. I mean, yeah. Chris Rock. I've had problems with his stand-up, his more recent stand-up anyway. Some of the things that he said, I was just like, I don't really think this is funny, but that's fine. Like, people can say whatever they want in terms of comedy, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you aren't literally directly insulting someone. But then that's what people define. Like, people will say, well, he was directly insulting Jada in that situation. He was, whether he knew or not, he was laughing about her bald head.
Ricky Gervais does it, and it's fucking fantastic. It's like these people, these fucking rich fucks in this room. It's like, just take a fucking hit once. You get paid enough. And it's like, honestly though, if that was me in that situation, and someone like said something bad about Zoe, I would of course be pissed off. But she would be so humiliated if I went on stage and slapped the person.
Yeah, but I know, that's the thing. I said to Jenny the other day, if we were in that situation, what would you like? And I did that, and I got up and I slapped the person. How would you feel? And she was like, no, I'd be embarrassed. I wouldn't want you to have done that. But there is something, I think, that everyone's got an opinion on this, and I hate that we're additional voices on it, but it's nice to speak about it because it is a thing. I think the Smith family are highly fucking annoying. They are all so annoying, and I hate that they talk about their shit all the time. But the bottom line is, recently we know that Will Smith was humiliated because on one of their roundtable talks, she was like, she had an entanglement, which meant she had an affair. So he was humiliated, and in that situation, I don't know what's going on in his life. Maybe he does feel like he's losing Jada Pinkett Smith or something like that. So when he was laughing at first at Chris Rock making that joke, maybe he was like, I can laugh this off. We never actually see him turn and see Jada's reaction. We only assume that he does that. But something snapped very, very quickly, and it must have been him looking at her, seeing that she was upset, and then thinking, fuck, the repercussions of me now. Like, basically, he's thinking in that moment, shit, my wife is unhappy that I'm laughing at this joke. I'm about to win an Oscar. I don't want that tainted by the possibility that my wife is really unhappy that I'm laughing at her on national television. So let me go up there. He should have walked up to Chris Rock and said, you think that's funny? It's not. You don't know the situations behind anything. Why don't you sit down and shut up unless you've got something nice to say? Say something like that. But he didn't.
Imagine he said that. Just standing there chatting to him.
No, but he could have. He could have gone up to that mic and just
it would have come across better.
It would have.
It would have come across better.
But he did something primal, which everyone to an extent has done in the past, where they've reacted, where you're angry when you're seething and sitting on something. And Will Smith's got issues, man. Like, that's not just a well-adjusted man who decided to do that. Some shit is going on in their fucked up family. The Smith family, you know, ugh. If I never heard from them again, I'd be very happy.
And sadly enough, his acceptance speech just felt so fake then, because it felt like, oh, he's a fucking actor now. He's just putting the tears on.
Yeah, I know.
And then he's fucking dancing in the after party.
Yeah. But at the same time, you know, can you...
I don't think he should have to give back his Oscar. And I don't think he should be like banned from the Academy and all that type of shit, though.
No, well...
There's people who get shit for much worse.
Yeah, I know. It's true. But the bottom line is, Chris Rock also needs to own a little bit of the fact that... Well, no, I don't know. Everyone's fair game for insulting, right? At the Oscars, everyone gets insulted.
That's it.
You know,
basically, at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? Let's just move on with our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, of course, we are moved on. We're not like, languishing on it. But
but every time I turn the TV on, they're still talking about it.
Yeah, but don't watch the TV, mate. Don't watch the TV.
I don't put the TV on, but the TV gets put on in the office.
Oh yeah, well that's
still
why.
Still fucking talking about this.
That's why, because they'll drain over all of that when there's nothing to say.
It's just any reason not to talk about Ukraine or talk about any world fuck-ups.
As a man, I feel I hurt for Chris Rock, the embarrassment of being slapped in the face on national television and not being able to do anything about it. Because Chris Rock isn't like a tough guy. I feel like
he just became the bigger man in the moment. I feel like he did take it well. Like, not responding there shows more control than responding. Yeah. It shows you're the opposite to what... If he had fought back, then no one would have... He stood there, he didn't go down, he just shook it off, laughed, and then moved on with it.
This is the hypocrisy of celebrity as well, because if that was a member of the public who walked up and smacked Chris Rock, it wouldn't be a case of, Chris Rock, do you want to press charges? They would have like dove on him and dragged his ass out.
Yep.
Good old Denzel, peacekeeper in the middle, though. Denzel's like quality, you know.
What did Denzel say?
He took both of them to the sides. If there's footage during the ad break,
I don't think he took both of them. He just took.
He took Smith to the side, but then he talks to Rock very, very briefly because Rock comes to the front of the stage. They cut. Will Smith's in tears. Denzel Washington and one other, I think Smith's publicist, are talking to him for about a good minute. Apparently, Denzel was chastising him for swearing, for doing that, and then it was like, "Now you need to recover from this." Put him back down in his seat.
Would he say to him, it was like when you're at your highest moment is when the devil comes for you or something like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we move on ourselves? And get on
let's
our
move on.
podcast?
I'm bored of it. So today we're here to talk about the last film of 1997. We've been on a good run so far. What have we had? We've had The Game.
Yes.
What was your pick, Adam?
Batman and Robin.
Of course. Then we had my pick, which was Full Monty. And today we have Paul's pick, which is Copland. 1997's Copland.
It is my pick.
Yes. And we're ending the year. So we'll get into it. We'll finish off 97 with all our thoughts on Copland. But before that, I guess we just give a quick shout out to our patrons.
Yes.
Who make the show possible. Number one, we have Jason Clarkson, our newly appointed patron. Thanks so much for your support, Jason.
Yes, we do. We also have Luke Human.
We do, the ever-eloquent Luke. Next, we have Steve from Movie Drone, flying the flag for the good ship Movie Drone. Good to have you.
From London, isn't he?
He's a London... No, he's a Kent boy, I think.
Is he from Kent?
Oh, you fucked up again, Adam.
Essex, maybe.
I'm getting closer.
Next, we have Katie and Oti. They're from Australia, Adam, if you didn't know.
Yes, I knew that one.
We also have Julio, our resident Peruvian Texan.
Yes. We have Sean Panner Nicholson. He's from the far, far north of Scotland.
Oh, so's Jamie Russell, but now he's living somewhere very closer to us.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And we have Nerd Revert, who used to be a Texan, but now he's an Albuquerquean, I think.
Albuquerquean, yes.
We'd love to get the geography on this.
Albuquerquean. We also have Fiona Stewart, who is from the land of Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, she is. She loves a bit of Joaquin Phoenix. And lastly, we have the wonderful Philip Barantini, the director of the wonderful film, the wickedly talented Boiling Point.
There we go. All the film busters have seen it now. We all endorse it. And if you haven't seen it yet, go and see it. That's all the patrons anyway.
And if you would like to know what we're doing on our Patreon today, after this episode, we're doing the monthly roundup of March, where we just chat about all our favourite films this month and our one worst film.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There's some corkers in there.
Yes, and you can get to that episode at www.patreon.com/filmbusters.
You would. I wish you would. Because, listen, listeners, you love this podcast. We're giving you such wonderful content. We have very good interactions and banter between us. We're dear friends, and we would love you to just pull up a chair and join us at the table, the patron table. But if you don't want to, it's fine. You just keep listening to this. We're putting it out for you regardless.
Yeah.
Adam's doing a little striptease for patrons next month, though. So
I am, yes.
You might want to get your pennies
don't want to
out.
miss that.
A mental striptease.
Get your pennies out. Right, but listen, boys, it's time to go to the quiz. Today's is quite interesting, and you'll find out why shortly. So, listeners, every episode we do a quiz. I ask Adam and Paul a question. If they get the question right, they get a point. If they get it wrong, I get a point. At the moment, Paul is running away with the quiz this year. He's got 12, and Adam and I are joint on 4. But today could potentially shake things up quite significantly. But it all depends on how well you boys do, which, given these questions today, you might not necessarily do very well. But are you ready, boys, for some questions on Copland?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay. Which rapper left Freddy for Dead on the rooftop of the building?
RZA.
Incorrect.
Shit, it's not him, is it?
Redman.
Oh, you were close. You were both so close. He's in the group with RZA, and he
Method Man
collaborates with Redman all the time. It is Method Man.
I knew as soon as I said
Yep.
it. I remember last week when I was reading through the cast, and I went, "Oh my god, Method Man's in it." And
Did
that's
you?
why.
Oh look,
and
mate,
I just
you've
knew
got
it
no
was
excuses.
I know, and and my mind just jumped straight to a Wu-Tang, and then
I think in my head, Method Man is Redman, Redman's Method Man.
Redman,
I might
Method
just
Man.
have them mixed up.
they are Redman, Method Man.
He's my favourite rapper, ladies and gentlemen. I loved him as a young buck.
You still love him
Oh, there
today.
you go.
Still do. There we go. A point for me. Now, boys, this question will lead on to another question, which I'll explain afterwards. But
Okay.
the question I'm about to ask you, if you are not correct within two, I get the point. Okay? And then whichever of you two is nearer, if you get it within two, gets the point. This will make sense when I ask the question. Okay? Mm-hmm. You can both say the same answer if you want to, and you'd both get the points.
Okay.
How many actors in this also went on to appear in The Sopranos?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay.
5.
Adam's locking in 5.
I got to lock in 5 as well.
All right. Well, the good news is that's a point for me.
Oh, how
now,
many?
don't say anything yet, boys, because there's a follow-up question. There are 10 actors in this that appeared in The Sopranos in some respect.
That is great.
Now, here's where points can be made. I'm going to give each of you a point for every actor's name you can give me, or the name of the character they play in Sopranos. Now, wait, before either of you say anything, because you both went down the line on 5, I have to default to the person who is in second place to give him a chance, okay? Mm-hmm. So,
go for it.
Adam, you get first pick. You can say as many actors or character names as you can that you think are in Sopranos. You get a point for every one. And then once... But, oh, sorry, you can only say correct ones. If you say a wrong one, we stop and I hand over to Paul.
Okay.
So just to clarify here, Adam, I'm looking for either... You can say either the name of the actor or the name of the character they play in Sopranos.
Yeah. All right, so you've got Eddie Falcone, shoot at the beginning.
All right, 1 for Adam.
Paulie Walnuts.
2.
You've got Frank Vincent. Is it Frank Vincent? Is that how you say his name?
3. Yep.
Yep.
Well done.
I'm pretty sure I saw... What's the guy who owns the restaurant? Carmine's. Not Carmine's. Oh my God, what's this guy who names the restaurant? Oh, cock-a-doodle fucking do. What's his name? What is his name? It's not Carmine's. Oh, shit on it. I fucking watched The Sopranos recently as well.
The old cogs are going.
I'm trying to think of a line. It's like we're going to...
You're trying to Google it right now is what you're trying to do, buying for time.
No, I can't. I can't get it.
Well, that's not bad. You've got a very healthy 3 there, Adam. Paul, if it helps now, I'm going to pass over to you just to say I split of the 10 actors. There are 5 that are what you might consider obvious or people that you could get, and then there are 5 that are really fucking hard. So I'd actually only expect you to get 2 at most now. But let's see.
I think Adam's pretty much done all the ones I know. So I'm just going to throw a curveball and hope that they're in it. Janine Garofalo.
Fuck me. I didn't think you'd get that one. That was one I put in the hard one. She is in it. She actually plays herself in The Sopranos because she's a comedian. So she plays herself. Very good,
okay.
Paul.
Well, let me. I've got because I know some of the actors, but I would never have thought they'd be in. So let me just say Michael Rappaport as well.
No. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Boom. Out. Okay. So
it's Artie fucking Bucco.
Artie Bucco. Yes.
Fucking.
And he's a cop in this. He's one of the cops in this. He's only in it very fleetingly.
He's on a picture, isn't he?
He's in the party that they have for whatever his name is, Superboy. The big obvious one that neither of you said, maybe you can't remember him in it, but he was in 3 episodes of The Sopranos, is Robert Patrick. He played Davey Scatino. He owned a store and he was running into trouble. He couldn't pay his debt, so he went gambling. Do you remember the gambling episodes where he's there with Silvio?
Yeah.
Yes. He's in that. 3 episodes of that. So they're the top 5. When you add Artie Bucco and Robert Patrick, that's the top 5. Very well done with Janine Garofalo. The other 4, and I don't even really know 2 of these people. Well, first there's the slimeball lawyer who's there early on in the film defending that that cop against De Niro. That's Bruce Altman. He plays Alan Sapinsley in The Sopranos, another lawyer. Frank Pellegrino, who plays the mayor in this. He plays Chief Frank Kubitsu in Sopranos.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's someone called Arthur Nascarella and someone called Annabella Sciorra. They play Carlo Gervasi and Gloria Trillo in The Sopranos. There you go.
Why is this? They're so weird because this is 97.
Yes.
And The Sopranos was 99, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, they must have just been around the corner casting.
Maybe.
And be like, who wants to come around and do this film?
Maybe so. These were all actors up on the rise, I suppose. They're all trying to get their break. So, I believe what that means is 2 points for me, 3 points for Adam, and 1 point for Paul. So, it's not a massive shift, but what it does do is it puts Adam in second place. So, Paul is on 13, Adam is on 7, and Ben is on 6.
Wow.
There we go.
Look at that.
Just enough to make it interesting again.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so does that mean should we move on to the main event?
Yes. Let's venture over to Copland, shall we?
Let's do it.
I'm sorry for rushing in like this, but you were right. They tried to kill him like you said, but he got away. Now he's running through the woods. He's like a scared animal. He's scared.
You know what? That motherfucker should be scared. His uncle got this case closed with one phone call.
Look, I'm sorry it took so long for me to come around. But you were right. I couldn't see the truth like you said. The evidence, my loyalties, they were confused.
They never give you any napkins in this place. What am I supposed to use? You want this?
What is this? You came to me, to my town, with all these speeches, and you're talking about doing the right thing, and I'm doing the right thing. What's going on? What are you doing?
That was like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. What about Babbage?
What about him? Fuck him.
What about Donlan?
Fuck him, too.
What about Joey Rendon?
He fell off a building. Did you read the papers? Listen, Sheriff, I'm really sorry to have awoken you from your slumber, but it's over. Hands are tied now. You shut me down.
No, listen to me. You're IA. That's why I came to you. You can do whatever you want. Remember you came to me and said, you want to be a cop? I'm being a cop now. I'm here. I'm asking you for some help. I need to do something. I need to do this for myself.
Listen to me, you deaf fuck. I offered you a chance when we could have done something. I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it. You blew it.
Right, everyone, today we are talking about Copland, the 1997 film from James Mangold. This is a spoiler episode. We'll go straight into spoilers, no hanging around, so if you haven't seen it, you might want to go watch it first, or just let us ruin it for you. Just before we get over to the plot description by Adam, we're just going to talk about actors who have been in films we've done before. Are you ready?
Yes.
First of all, we got Sylvester Stallone. He's been in one other film. Do you know what it is?
One other film that we've... Oh, yeah. Suicide Squad.
That is correct. Yes, The Suicide Squad. We also have Harvey Keitel. He's actually been in 2 other films we've done.
The Irishman and...
Smoke?
There we go.
Yes.
Very good.
Smoke. And Malik Yoba, who's De Niro's partner in this, he's also been in Smoke.
Okay.
Yes. Then we have De Niro. He's been in 4 other films we've done. He's a high lister in our film busters world.
Casino, Irishman, Joker, and Midnight Run.
Look at that. Yes. Very good. Then we have Michael Rappaport. He's been in 1 other film. He plays Superboy.
What's he been in that we've done?
It was an episode that Adam did not feature on.
Oh, really?
One of the Tony Scott films.
Yeah, it's one of the Tony Scott films.
Oh, fucking... Yeah, that True Romance.
True Romance.
Yeah.
Yes. He's the friend of Christian Slater.
That's right.
And then lastly, we got Frank Vincent, who is obviously going to be in some kind of gangster film we've done, which is Casino. Correct. And that's it. That's all the actors have appeared before.
Oh, lots of returning actors.
Yes.
Is this our first Ray Liotta film?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. Adam,
yeah.
You want to do a plot description of this film?
Yeah. So this is a small town outside of New York, and all the cops seem to live in this small town, and they work in the big city, and Sylvester Stallone's in charge of all these cops, and he kind of just lets them do a bit what they want until De Niro comes along and goes, your cops are bad, and he starts investigating them and questioning where his loyalties lie. On a line between friendship and cops.
Friendship and cops, that line that we all face every day.
Friendship and cops.
Being a good cop or being friends with these people.
Well,
Wow.
friends in quotation marks, I'd say.
Yes.
Yep.
Friends.
Friends, foes,
Acquaintances.
The thin blue line, as they say. Shall I give you some trivia?
Yeah,
Yep.
please.
Copland was directed by James Mangold and stars Sylvester Stallone, Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta, De Niro, Peter Berg, Janine Garofalo, Robert Patrick, Michael Rappaport, Annabella Sciorra, many, many, many more. It's a who's who of fucking cast members in this film. So the town of Garrison is based on director James Mangold's hometown in Washingtonville, New York. He grew up in a development called Worley Heights, and most of the residents there were current and former NYPD police officers. Apparently, it's illegal for New York police officers to live outside of New York. But so what you see in this film couldn't actually happen. But I guess they try and explain it with a little loophole that they were transit cops. Stallone ate lots of pancakes and donuts every morning for breakfast to gain 18 kilograms of fat to portray the beaten down sheriff of Garrison. And that's all I have for you.
That's good.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. It just ended.
Yes.
And that's all I have. Well, wonderful. This is my film, so I get to decide what order we do our first impressions in. I'm going to go first. Then it's going to be Ben. And then it's going to be Ad.
Okay.
Right. So, as you said, it is a stacked cast. What a stacked cast it is. And how have we not seen this film? It's just packed to the brim with like actors we love. And they're all pretty on point too, as well. So, for pretty much the whole duration, I was like, wait, what? You're in this too? And then, is that Paulie from Sopranos in the most smallest role ever? It's wonderful stuff. I also think this may be my favourite Stallone performance, maybe. Also because of how low-key and oppressive he is. His voice and presence just seem to work so well with that character. And De Niro also has the loveliest curly hair in this. I've never known him to feel more cuddly and lovable than in this film. And I think it's a great film. The world building in the first half especially was probably when it was at its pinnacle for me. But it gets to a point around the halfway mark when it feels like its wheels are spinning a bit, and which must have been how De Niro felt about Stallone just not doing anything to progress his case. He blew it!
You blew it.
It ended
You
satisfactory. Like a man on a mission taking Copland on solo, all culminating in a very, very satisfying watch for me.
Oh, there you go. I agree with everything you say. Everything you say there. Stallone is the standout. Absolutely fucking brilliant. I love that he was playing against type here. He's still big ass Stallone, but he's just, he's a bit of a loser, ineffectual. Loved it. I thought he was the best. Even though De Niro's great, I thought he was the best in it.
Yeah, I agree.
The whole cast just bringing their A game to this film. They all care. They're all doing a great fucking performance here, and I agree with you. The middle bit seems to sort of like spin its wheels or sag, and the thing is, it's not a long film, so there's really no excuse for that. It's not like this is a 3-hour film and it was like, so it has a bit of a slump. It shouldn't have done that. And the thing that's confusing is there was actually a lot of complexity to what started happening with the cops, and somehow they still managed to make it feel a little baggy in the middle. But that said, because of that complexity and because there were lots of layers, it was very interesting and I imagine very rewatchable. I was grateful for the runtime. I wouldn't have liked it to have been longer. And the reason for that is because I actually didn't like the characters we were spending time with. Apart from Stallone, all of the characters are deeply unpleasant individuals. And that's not to say that the film was bad because of that. It wasn't. But that's why, I just didn't like any of them. They were all horrible fucks, and I was grateful that they got their comeuppance at the end. I admire that it was showing that cops are bad guys, and I liked the concept of a whole fucking town set up for these cops to just live and corrupt. But the odds being stacked against one man thing is a big Stallone thing that he does anyway, but I've just never seen him play it like this, and it did keep me guessing how it would end, and had a couple of scenes between Stallone and De Niro, which I very much enjoyed. But yes, there were a few. It was a little baggy in the middle, and there are a couple of things that happened, and I was like, I don't really understand why you're making that decision. But ultimately, I had a very fucking good time.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
And long overdue. Can't believe it's taken this long to watch it.
I know, crazy.
Again, I kind of agree with everything you guys have said to an extent. When it opened up and you've got a De Niro voiceover, you're like, great. Like, zooming in across the city, you're like, all right.
Here we
Why
go.
the hell have I not watched this film before? Kind of like, where has this been hiding? Great opening, great like setting. It's an interesting premise as well, and Stallone.
A little bit confusing.
Yeah, it was a little bit confusing, but you don't really need to know the full ins and outs of it to kind of get what's going on, I guess. At first, I was a bit weird about Stallone. I was like, it's so weird to see Stallone against all these great actors. And like I always still think of Stallone as like a muscle man, like kind of in that same bracket as Arnie, but he's not really though, is he? He's more of an actor than that. But he definitely comes into his own and can hold his own against these type of actors. Yeah, it was a bit weird in the middle, but the whole film sailed by very quickly.
It did.
Before it kind of came to the end, I was like, this film like feels like it was ending, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, there's actually only 15 minutes left of this film. This has gone well quickly. I only watched this film last night, and I've already forgotten quite a bit about it. That's the only problem I have with this film. It's like I can remember everything that happened, but it already feel quite forgettable for a film I watched less than 12 hours ago.
I get what you mean. I can understand it a little bit.
It's kind of like why is this film kind of, I don't know, just because I haven't heard of it, but like it feels relatively unheard of. Like it's not a massive film out there, especially when you go on everyone's letterboxd and it says that it's not at the top, is it? It's quite far down. And then you kind of understand when you kind of finish the film, like it must have just come out at the wrong time and just gone under the radar.
Well, like what was coming out? What was well,
Batman
we know what's coming out. Everything, yeah, exactly. Batman and Robin stealing the fucking show. Yeah.
But everyone in this film is. Every time an actor pops up on the film, you're like, I know you. Another one pops up, you're like, I know you. And then one comes up, you're like, I know you. I don't know if it's just obviously they just got lucky with everybody going on to have great careers afterwards.
It became that. It became like that guessing guess which actor's going to pop up next throughout.
And that's the biggest impact this film really has. The actors that are in it. I don't think it has. I think it does have a great story, but there's no. Until the ending, there's no impact.
I do feel like the story is good, but it could have been better.
So what was confusing me immediately, I'll tell you what, all the stuff leading up to the bridge and everything that happens up to the point where they're like, oh my God, he jumped. Right, up to that point, I was like, fucking hell, this is amazing. Yeah. Because like so much has suddenly happened here, and the whole film is now going to be unpicking what really happened.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, very quickly we find out that he didn't, and he's been snuck into the town as well, which is cool. But it's like, oh man, we could have had a bit more intrigue played out around that, and
could have held it back a little bit more. And
it was confusing as to like who was corrupt at first, because I was like, oh, was just one or two of these people corrupt? And it was like, oh no, all of you are corrupt. Which made it hard to work out what was being said on the bridge and what was truthful, who was on what side. But I guess that kind of plays into the whole thing of you don't know in that town of Garrison, you don't know who's clean, you don't know who to trust, you don't know.
Well, pretty much, yeah, it was pretty much everyone on the take for it, because I think that was a bit still confusing. I had to like keep taking the Robert De Niro voiceover back a little bit just to try and understand what he was saying about the you couldn't live
transit
outside
cops.
of New York, transit cops, and then they built their own place.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then obviously I get the idea now, come to the end of the film, but I was just like, so who is in charge of who? What, the sheriff? So are they policemen in this town, or they're policemen in New York? And it was just me trying to get my head around. What's going on.
And do you know what? There was a lot of confusion as well, because it only occurred to me like today that after they go, oh my God, he's jumped, they are sneaking him into their town so that he can have a new life. Like, I didn't really clock that. It was kind of like, at the time I was watching it, I was like, so you pretended he died, but actually you've just got him hanging around in your town at a party. And
because it's different police, it's different precinct, isn't it? So
yes,
they don't have jurisdiction.
I mean, that's a great premise. It is a great concept. And this is the thing about the film. All of it is, it goes through the beats. Everyone acts brilliantly in their roles for it, and it goes through the beats of it all very well. But just because it is a little bit confusing, at times it made me like lose the thread of stuff, and not really know who was what. Like, for example, why all of a sudden did they decide that they needed to kill him?
Because they needed the body, didn't they?
It was Paulie on the phone talking to.
But why?
Harvey Keitel.
If the plan was always, we'll just give him a new identity in Garrison, why did that change?
They didn't believe he was dead until the body was found, wasn't it? De Niro said, like, how can you, we just buried a suit, how are you okay with that? Like, aren't you a good enough cop?
Yeah, but they could have just doubled down and been like, yeah, he's gone downstream.
It's true. They probably could have got away with it, but they needed to progress that storyline.
Yeah, I know, that's it.
I feel like this film could have been so much more than it was. It did. Like, the start was a great setup.
Yeah.
They could have held it back a bit. Have it be a bit more of a mystery, wondering whether he was still alive, and whether they were corrupt or not. Because immediately, within 15-20 minutes, you knew that Harvey Keitel was corrupt.
Yeah. Oh yes.
So there's no mystery there. You see him in the back of the car. It's not even like a reveal. He's just in the back of the car.
And also, why does he, fucking like an idiot that he is, look up at Stallone as he's being driven
little
in?
Kid.
Like, stay down, you dickhead. You're meant to be fucking hiding out.
Yeah.
You know that actor, Michael Rappaport? He used to annoy the fuck out of me. Still does to
his
an
energy,
extent.
do you reckon?
It is. He's so hyper.
Childlike.
He feels like a wannabe Eminem kind of thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. He has this like childlike,
You're obsessed with Eminem at the moment, aren't you?
inquisitive kind of nature.
He's too hyper. But
Him, Michael Rappaport, and I can't remember his name now. The guy who's Truman's best show and best friend in the Truman Show.
yeah, the
also in this.
deputy for Stallone.
They're in everything.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s.
They were. That's
Like
true.
Everything.
It's true. Do you know what? Maybe we should just talk about each character, and then that will talk a little bit about some of the stuff that happens with him. Let's start up top with the big boys. Let's go to Stallone first.
Yeah, I love this. Is another thing. Like, it's a great setup. I love the fact he's this downtrodden sheriff. He is like the lead. He's the lead sheriff in a town, but everyone is more like feels more senior than he is. Like, he's not actually running the town at all. He's just there just to be a body. You know, I love that.
He is. And you know what's brilliant? We're introduced to him playing that pinball machine, and when the balls go away, the audio from the video game's going, "You have no authority. You have no authority."
Oh, very good. Yeah, yeah.
And it's true, because he's just so fucking ineffectual. I feel for him, because he is like, he's trying to do things right in the town, but he's like in awe of these fucking scumbags, so he can't. It's like he knows, that he knows that they're up to no good, but equally he's like, oh, I can't really do anything. Well, it's not that he can't be bothered, because he does want to be a good guy, but he just feels like he can't, right?
He's more like a community support officer, like dealing with some rubbish bags that have been dropped outside someone's house.
Chasing down the
like,
local kids. And
nothing very big.
You know what scene I liked, which showed how he'd sort of grown accustomed to turning a blind eye to law enforcement, was when De Niro is talking to Harvey Keitel in the shop for the first time. Stallone looks through the window at them talking, and then when De Niro comes out, he's like, "Oh shit," because he thinks he's got a ticket on his car, but then he turns up and it's just a leaflet, and he says to Stallone, "Oh, I thought you were going to give me a ticket," and Stallone just sort of brushes it off, and that establishes the fact that Stallone, well, he would have given him a ticket if he wasn't law enforcement, if he clearly wasn't connected. And it shows already how he's sort of like under the thumb of them.
Yeah, absolutely. He pulled it off. It was great.
He was good dramatic acting in this, man, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Stallone.
I believed his whole act in this. It was great.
Yes. He was all soft and pudgy and out of shape. It was funny to see him like that after having watched Rockies recently. Funny to see him like that. But he's good. I thought he's a pretty good actor in it. There isn't the Arnie thing. Like, Arnie's acting you enjoy on a different level because of the campiness of it all.
Yeah.
Whereas this, as you say, Adam, he isn't the Arnie. He's like,
yeah.
I think he is. even though he's muscled, he does want to be an actor, performer first and foremost.
Yeah. Also, I feel like him not being so muscly in this film does help. You kind of believe it's not the same. It's not the same Stallone.
Yeah, definitely.
As you see before, it's like he's almost like a broken down version of him, like a shell of his man.
Yeah,
that he was, and this like his character is as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think a great metaphor for his whole arc in this film, his whole character, is when he's talking about saving the woman he loved, and he's like, if that happened today, I wouldn't even jump in.
Yeah.
It's like I just don't care. I just have no interest.
Yeah.
And it's like that's probably the best thing I've ever done. Just that thing when he wasn't even a policeman.
Yeah. That's all very sad stuff as well. But do you know what I didn't like was the obvious forced relationship. Yeah.
It didn't even pay off to even be there.
I know,
really.
just for that one scene of a kiss, and it's like we didn't need that.
The only way it would have worked is if like a husband found out and he was pissed.
Yeah. But the husband couldn't give a fuck. He was cheating around.
Didn't play into the plot at all.
No, it didn't. It was just one of those.
Were they even together at the end?
No. It's just, here's an older man with this younger. It would have worked much better if he was like a fatherly figure to her, rather than I saved this girl's life and, actually, I fancy her as well. And for some unknown reason, this girl who's 30 years younger than me actually does like me. You know.
Yeah.
But
it could have just even worked without even having the kiss in it. Just it's like he loved her at this one stage. He saved her life, but they just never worked out.
Yeah,
like, didn't even need a kiss. He layered his character, and that's it.
I felt for him, man. He was our point of identification in a film full of scumbags. He was our way in, and so satisfying to see him at the end. Obviously, not get his fucking eardrum burst by that gunshot, but walking deaf with that shotgun. I was like, come on, let's have it. This is a great ending, man.
Yeah, it was a very satisfying ending.
Great idea. Like, okay, for the great showdown, the one good guy can't fucking hear anything.
Yeah. And he says it to Harvey Keitel at the bottom. He's like, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you. Yeah.
And then just shoots him.
Says it's John Cena line. No, that's why I can't see you. Yeah. I like that Ray Liotta came back to help him at the end, though, so he wasn't totally alone in that gunfight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that he didn't get shot as well.
I know, that's right. Yeah, he wasn't cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a good arc because they could have easily used that as a moment just to. He's like, this is his comeuppance, but now he has to die because he's still a bad guy.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was good.
And they gave him his hearing back at the end slightly. Like I thought they were going to just leave it with him being deaf completely, but at the end that they were like, oh no, his hearing's starting to recover, and then he responds to his deputy at the end.
It's all like a bit of a metaphor for him, like not paying attention to what's happening in the town, like keeping his ears closed. Like being deaf to all the corruption.
I also like that he was kind of portrayed to be like this old school dude, because like Liotta says to him up front, some people play video games, some people play pinball, and so he likes his pinball. And when she comes around his house, he's got vinyls, and she's like, haven't you got any CDs? And he's like, well, I don't do that. It's like he's old. He's old school. He does his old. Yeah. He does. Yeah, I liked that. What about? That's what he was like. And then we got De Niro, the internal affairs man.
What a teddy bear! I loved him.
He looked like a teddy bear with that curly hair around his ears. That's for sure. De Niro is not on screen very long in this film, and I did miss that. I would have liked to have had a bit more.
Yeah, but then
of
it's quite good. It didn't become the De Niro show.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I could have benefited from a little more of him. The thing that I think it didn't work was having, even though it's nice to hear him, was having an opening and closing monologue from De Niro. It's like, you are not the narrator of this story, so it doesn't really make sense that it's you. If anything, it should be Stallone.
The only way is it's like as if he's reading the
book,
reading in the court or something. Like
maybe,
as if it was something to do with that. Like he's the one reading out what the whole case is against.
Yeah, that's true.
But his best scene. I agree he was underused and he almost was ineffective for the whole film. Like he didn't actually do anything. really, apart from like interrogate people. But
internal
that
affairs,
scene,
isn't it?
yeah, that scene where where they're all in the bar and they're leaning against the bar and he's like introducing himself to all the different members of the police force, and he just has that charming, like, oh, is that how it happened? Yeah,
It's like we all know in this room what's really going on, but we're saying these words. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My favourite bit was when Stallone goes into his office, and he's eaten everything about it. This is why I adore De Niro, because you just know everything about that is De Niro. He's got a fucking sandwich out, which I read it in the trivia, but it's so clear anyway that De Niro clearly was like, give me a sandwich for this scene. Yeah. Put a sandwich there. I'm going to work the sandwich into this. I'll be talking to him. I won't even give him the respect to not have my fucking sandwich in my mouth at the time. Mm-hmm. And like, there is this brilliant fucking moment, apart from the bit where he goes, I gave you a fucking chance, you deaf dummy, and you blew it. That's great. Yeah. That's class De Niro. But there's a bit where De Niro goes, my hands are tied. When he comes into him, and we're not on video camera, so I can't show you, but go back and watch this clip. When he says, my hands are tied, he does this brilliant gesture with his hands where he flips his hands back ever so slightly behind his back, and you're like, this is masterclass, man, because some people could do that really obviously. Some people could make a show, my hands are tied, look, my hands are tied, showing their hands, but he does this really subtle flip, and I'm like, this is primo De Niro. I fucking love it. And everyone in that scene is, I feel, in awe of De Niro. And Stallone, maybe I'm wrong, in that scene, Stallone, he's really trying to be like, come on, but you told me to come down here, and I'm coming down here. Stallone is almost like a nervous puppy at that point. And I wonder how much of that was Stallone in awe of De Niro in that scene. Even though it's a performance, he knows he's in the presence of fucking absolute greatness. Mm. And being like, absolutely. And like De Niro's performance is so on the money. Like, how can you compete with that? I mean, it would just be such a fucking. You'd be in a scene, and you'd be like, I know that I'm meant to be acting with you and alongside you, but I'm in awe of what the fuck you're doing here. Like, how can I even bounce back at you? Imagine being in a scene with De Niro.
It's fucking great.
And you'd be intimidated, because you'd also be like, well, if I fuck this up, if I don't match his energy, he's in it, he's not going to be like, oh, it's okay, we'll go again. You know that De Niro, he won't be angry, but he'll be intense about it. It
kind of works though with how downplayed Stallone's character is as well. It's like he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to say many words. You can see it all in his posture and his facial expressions, just how he's feeling. I think he does such a great job against. Yeah,
he does. And for as great as De Niro is, Stallone does steal the show with that, and I
still think De Niro's king in this, though.
I mean, he is.
I think it's his screen time, though. It just doesn't.
Yeah, but man, when you're there, you're like, oh, here he is again. It's a bit like with
it is lovely when he shows up.
What's his name? Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards. It's like, oh, here we go. We're getting excited again now.
I like at the end of that scene after they chewed out Stallone and Stallone leaves, and then he's like, we just fired him up. Basically, he's like, we just fired him up. We might have a case again.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, oh, that was a play in a way.
Yeah.
You wanted him to go away feeling angry so you could get involved again.
That was his arc. That was
the
arc of the character to make him to fire up Stallone.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Around that time, De Niro was doing Jackie Brown. He was in between Jackie Brown and Sleepers. He did Jackie Brown the same year. So that moustache stayed, didn't it, actually, thinking about...
yeah, it did, didn't it?
Kept that moustache.
You're probably like, the main reason I'm doing this film is I get to keep it.
God, De Niro aged really quickly because his prior film was Sleepers the previous year, and he was looking older, but he wasn't looking as old as he did in this film. I think it's just growing the hair out significantly.
Yeah. Showing those greys.
Anyway, who's next? Who's on deck?
Do we talk about Harvey Keitel?
Oh, lovely to see Harvey back in and around that time.
Yeah.
Also nice to see him just being a bellend, kind of.
I mean, it's classic Keitel character.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you get the impression that Keitel is a bit of a bellend in his personal life? Like, whenever you see him recently, he looks fucking moody and just pissed off.
Yeah. He loves the intimidation. He's always intimidating people.
He's very good at the intimidation in this.
With words, yeah.
But when he turned up on that bridge... I thought, is he the good guy and everyone else is corrupt?
Mm.
And
it's when you kind of see him getting pulled over for speeding, you're like, okay, here we go.
Well, then yeah. Oh, fucking, yeah, him and Robert Patrick, and they're like calling her Cupcake and all that. It's like, oh,
I know.
Fuck you guys, man. If you were really trying to lay low in Garrison, maybe you would play it a little bit nicer, like at least pretend to be decent.
I did lose
guys.
a bit of respect for Stallone's character there. I was a bit like, you could at least say to him, don't talk to her like that. Like,
I mean, that's
not needed. Just say like something like that's not needed, guys. Like,
but you know, he's flawed from the beginning as well. Don't forget, he crashes his fucking car, and then the deputy's like, "Oh, don't worry, I covered for you and said you were chasing a speeder." Like,
he fucking cracks open a parking meter.
Yeah.
To get all the money out.
He was driving drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But who gives a fuck when you're the leader of a town, like the police force of a town, who doesn't actually do the job properly? It's like, well, who's fucking gonna get me in trouble anyway? Might as well do what I want.
See, this is the thing. Bringing up Harvey Keitel here, I think I don't know your scores, but I think we're all pretty much fairly well aligned on this one. I think this is the reason it doesn't actually elevate to top tier. We know that Keitel was a good character and a good performance, but that's it. Like, there actually isn't all that much to say about Keitel. Yeah, it's like what you see is what you get with that performance, and that's it.
It's like everything is in the first half of the film, and then it spins its wheels for a bit, and then it's like, well, this is the conclusion of all that.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much focus on trying to kill Superboy, and it's like that just takes too long.
Yeah, that is the real slump and slag of it all. And like the way it go. All right, let's move on to Michael Rappaport Superboy then. Why does his aunt give him the note on a napkin around the glass? Okay, kind of cool in a film, but she was already off to the side with him quietly. She could have said, "They're trying to kill you." At that point, didn't need to do the note.
Someone could have seen that note before him.
Exactly. Then Michael Rappaport goes out with them to the pool and allows himself to start getting drowned. Like, you already know you've got a gun. Why didn't you start shooting before that, motherfucker?
Yeah. The motivations is like that. Just run. Fucking bolt now.
And then he turns up at Stallone's house, and the minute he sees Ray Liotta, he freaks and runs. Like, I get that you know that he's a cop with everyone else, but you're with Stallone at that point. All of that was just, it just went too long.
I think it's that is the thing though, because just like De Niro saw the picture of Stallone and Keitel together, it's like you're really unsure where his loyalties lie. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
but I mean, he must have known at least a little bit because he is the one who did go to Stallone's house.
See, this is what makes the Stallone character so fascinating, is because he isn't. If it would have been so easy to make Stallone a good guy from the off who is trying, but just getting nowhere.
He's the only one who really has any like progression with his character.
Yeah.
Everyone else seems like they're stilted in. That's exactly who they are.
And then you blew it. De Niro did it many times. There's people say it about him, but it's true. De Niro says lines 2 times. He's like the guy from Goodfellas, but he does. Whatever line is in a script, De Niro will say it twice. What did I say to you? What did I just say to you? Go to lunch. What did I say? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?
Everyone just fuck off.
Yeah, just fuck off. The case is closed. We got no case. That's De Niro. I'll say it several times.
It just nails it, doesn't it? When he says it twice. It just nails the scene.
There is an obscene amount of blood. An obscene amount of blood. For some reason, it works, though, doesn't it? If you say it twice, it is effectual.
It's like, oh, he means business.
Yeah. Hence, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? So, twice. He says it.
Yeah.
He says it more than twice, though, doesn't he?
He's the fucking inspiration for the character in Goodfellas.
Maybe he is, mate. Maybe
Scorsese was just taking the piss out of him.
He could have been. This is one thing that I was thinking.
Got the papers.
Yes. When I was watching this film, I did think this film in Scorsese's hands would have been top tier, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
This is material that Scorsese really could have made a fantastic story out of.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm saying like it's a good film and you enjoy it all, but you kind of do feel a little bit, no, to the film's discredit, it's almost too good that it could have been great, but that's what kind of lets it down in some ways as well.
It does have a lot of potential. Do you know what? It just tries to do a few too many things.
It's like a football team getting to a cup final that should never have been in a cup final, and they don't win the cup final, so it kind of has a bad taste about everything getting there. If they just got to the semi-finals or the quarter-finals, you'd be like, okay, they did good. But because they get to the final, you're a bit distasteful that you lost it.
De Niro just knew it at the end. He was like, "You blew it.
Yep.
You could have had something. You blew it.
You blew it." Yeah, he was talking to the director. He wasn't even talking to Stallone. What about Robert Patrick? Does he ever play a fucking good guy? Never.
Mate, he's fucking great, though.
He is brilliant.
He's got fucking charisma, that guy.
He does.
He's wonderful.
He's always a fucking terrible man.
Yeah, he's a fucking intimidating one. He might be even more intimidating than Keitel.
I think he is, mate. Yeah, I think he is. Keitel is the one who sends Robert Patrick to do his dirty work, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very intimidating. Ever since T-1000, I've been scared of that man, and he's still
watch that tonight.
Did I ever tell you my Robert Patrick story?
No, I don't think so.
There's not much of one. Me and Hero went to Collectomania in Milton Keynes in 2010 to see Robert Englund. And we were filming, my friend had just moved into the house with me, and we were going to do a housewarming party that we had called something ultra-violent sex party. It was basically a spoof of Clockwork Orange, right? And in Clockwork Orange, they all drink Moloko, which is milk. And so we were like, let's take some milk to Robert Englund and get him to record a video that we'll play at the party of him with this milk. And he said, he was saying something, and it was about the ultra-violent sex party, here's the milk, whatever, right? And he was lovely. Robert Englund was lovely, and he was game for it, right? But while we were recording this and Robert Englund had the milk and everything, Robert Patrick was sat at the table next to him, and I just distinctly remember Robert Patrick turning and going, "Wow, what is going on over here?"
Did you feel menaced by him then?
No, I didn't, because he was sort of
That
like
would have
all
been
pudgy.
Imagine you just pan the camera over to
Against the T-1000s.
and that would have been a classic video.
Oh man. But yeah, terrifying man. I cannot think of a film that he is in where he's a good guy. He's made to be a bad guy.
Even in the film I watched with John Cena, he was a bad guy in it.
What film was that?
The Marine, I think it was called.
Ah, is he? He's the father of Peacemaker in the new Peacemaker series, and he plays the leader of a white supremacist group. So.
Who does?
Robert Patrick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Very racist.
Stop doing this.
Robert, do a nice role.
Yes.
We're waiting for you. Win your Oscar.
Do a nice thing. Oh, man, I would love it. I would love, like, why can't Quentin Tarantino be like, okay, I was famous for bringing back people who don't have a career anymore. Let me bring back Robert Patrick and win him a fucking Oscar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Ray Liotta. Now, he was interesting in this. I thought he was pretty interesting as a character because I could not get the measure of him from beginning to end. And I love that.
Yeah.
He was not clear
He has
cut.
a little bit of progression in this film.
He does. I think the twist that he actually burnt his house down was great because I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I just thought the twist was the fact that they burnt his house down.
Yeah.
Like Harvey Keitel.
It's like these motherfuckers that they're willing to keep it down. But that's great. They didn't even do that. That was fucking him because he just wanted to get out of Garrison. So he was like, let me get the insurance money and collect. And the thing that's wild is then only after that do you realise that opening scene at the bar where Edie Falco from Sopranos is handing him that bag is she's from the fucking bomb squad. She's corrupt on the inside too. Like, let me hand you this bag so you can do that shit.
Yeah. Which is good because it lays up his character to show that he kind of wants to get out of this life. Like that is good. So he's conflicted. Like he's blowing up his own house.
Yeah.
He in fact killed his own girlfriend.
Oh mate, I tell you what, I couldn't. When I was watching that, I was like, fuck me, man. I do this so often. I'm like, if this was real, if this was happening to me,
What, you couldn't look
I would take a gun out and put a bullet in my head. No, I'd kill myself. I couldn't live.
What if you did that to your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you did, yes. I mean, how much of a girlfriend was his girlfriend?
Well, he was kind of with her, though, wasn't he? Because Robert Patrick was like, she's a whore, you meant to fuck her, not build a methadone clinic for her. But he seemed to like her. He certainly set up shop with her. He was sad when she was dead.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was certainly sad. Was he crying?
Yeah,
when she died?
he was.
Yeah.
You was meant to live in the home, but instead you blew it. You blew it up.
De Niro just talking to everything in this. You could have just run away when you got the no Primeranti, but you blew it.
Okay, here's one. I think we're done with all the cast members largely, right?
Yeah. There's little small parts, but it's more like, oh, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Rather than anything special.
The whole thing that kicked it off, the chase on the bridge and what Superboy did. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about this morning. If you're a cop, forget whether you're a good cop or a bad cop, and a car smashes into the side of you, you pursue, and then someone pulls what appears to be a gun out and points it at you. You slam the brakes on your car, and then you pursue them, and you shoot at them, and you kill them, and then you find out they didn't really have a gun. Where would the law stand on that legally? Like, shouldn't he have shot if he believed that they had a gun and they were racing into town?
They pulled something out that looked like a gun, didn't they?
Yeah, it was. I think it was meant to be the tire iron or something like that.
Yeah, it was a tire iron. Yeah, I think it was just their obsession with wanting to be squeaky clean. So, and he was seen as like a hero cop. I think they said something about him saving babies or something.
Yeah, they kept saying he saved 6 black babies. They kept saying.
Yeah, so he was obviously like they had a good light on them at the moment, the police force. So for them
Superboy.
to like muddy the waters with something like that would ruin their reputation. So they just didn't want anything to ruin that.
And that's it.
But it's true. It's a tough one. Like he didn't actually want them to say anything, did they? I mean, he didn't want them to cover it up. Yeah. He kind of wanted to face the consequences.
But then he was more than happy when he got back to Garrison and he was at the party and all that. He was kind of fine.
Very true. Very true.
Because all of these cops are corrupt as fuck. And the funny thing they kind of set it up in that opening. You know when he walks around and then Robert Patrick's throwing up, right? And then he gets back in his car and he puts the gun on the passenger seat, right? It kind of felt like it was meant to be, here's a coincidence of circumstances. The only reason he did it was because the gun was right there on the passenger seat. But that isn't the case. He would have whipped that fucking gun out of the glove compartment anyway. So I didn't really get the point of us seeing that.
No.
They really made a point of laying it down.
The setup for that whole scene as well was a bit odd because it felt like he's constantly looking over his shoulder as if he's being followed or like there's a reason for him to be scared that there's going to be someone around the corner.
Yeah. It was strange, wasn't it? And then I thought people were going to be in like the back of his car or something.
Yeah. That's what it felt like. It felt like they were building up something like that. Like he was about to die.
Yeah.
For some reason or other. But it was just to have the gun there. Yeah. It was a fucking Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's gun.
If you're going to show it, you better use it.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's the thing about this film. It is. I think it's best in its setup and its conclusion.
Yeah.
Anything in the middle just doesn't really resonate.
No.
You have some good moments, I guess. But
it is some solid entertainment. I would watch it again. I think if you watched it again, it would all make a little bit more sense on the second watch as well. But then I think after that, you might go, okay, but there's actually not all that much more to it than this. It's just good performances.
Yeah.
And a interesting enough story. Like I was interested all the way through. I was enjoying it. I was just muddled in the middle.
I think it's more like an afterthought. Like once you finish it, it's like, well, that could have been a lot better.
Yes.
I did have a great time though.
I had a great time.
I'm not gonna lie.
He's a good director, man. So he did like as his first feature film, Copland. Copland was his first feature.
Was it?
Yeah, and then he went on and did Girl Interrupted, Identity, Walk the Line, 3:10 to Yuma. I'm dropping out the ones that are shit. Logan, Ford versus Ferrari, Ford v Ferrari, man, and he's doing the next Indiana Jones.
Oh, is he? Wow.
Yeah, director James Mangold. Spielberg's only producing. Yes, there we go. Wow. That's a bit of a leap from some of the others. Oh no, I suppose if he's done the Logans, maybe. But yeah, I mean, solid director, man. Solid.
Yeah, very solid.
He obviously likes Liotta because he went on to do Identity with him afterwards. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would have been nice to have a bit more female voices in this that weren't just there to respond to what the men were doing. It's a very man film, it feels like. It's like, oh, here's a film for blokes.
Yes. The females were there, just one was just a love interest, the long lost love, and then Edie Falco. Edie Falco was just there to give a bomb. But what's her name?
Jean Garofalo, or whatever they're called.
Janine Garofalo.
Aye.
She was just downtrodden on by the rest of the police force.
She was.
It wasn't bigged up, and then she just left.
Yeah. Yeah. She left. At least she did leave. At least she was like, fuck this town, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm not having anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I think it was more to save herself, though, because she thought that she didn't want to take down this whole police force with Stallone.
Yeah.
She was scared for her own life.
Yeah, that's true. It was all solid. It was largely solid and good entertainment. And Paul, thank you for bringing this unseen De Niro onto my radar. My first De Niro film of the year after so many last year.
Oh wow, wonderful.
Shall we talk scores?
Let's talk scores. I'll go up first. I think it's a very solid 8 out of 10. I enjoy it. It's 8 out of 10.
There we go. Exactly the same for me. Very solid. Yep. Bang. 8 out of 10.
See, this is the thing. I would have said an 8 out of 10, but I don't know if it feels more of a 7. But I feel like a 7's harsh, so I'm going to stick on 8.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I just feel like a 7's harsh.
Yeah, but we're allowed to be harsh.
I know, but there's a lot more good in this film than bad.
It seems like he's feeling worse for it if it's a 7, so maybe you should go for an 8.
All right, so it's 8. Bang down the line, and let's place it, boys. Are you ready? We can do this live. So this obviously averages an 8. So from bottom to top, here we go, boys. Is this better or worse than The Hunger? Adam hasn't seen it, but it's better than The Hunger.
It's better.
Okay. Is it better or worse than Midnight Run? Midnight Run is better for my money.
This is better than Midnight Run.
Yeah, I gave Midnight Run a 7, I believe. So
yeah.
Okay, so up it goes. Better or worse than Last Jedi? It's better than that for me.
Yeah, better than Last Jedi. Yeah.
Okay.
Put it above Last Jedi.
The Exorcist 3. Exorcist 3 is better for me.
This is better.
Yes, let's go above Exorcist 3.
Okay, it's obviously surely going above Lego Batman for me, but
no, Lego Batman's better.
Above Lego Batman.
Okay, here we go. We keep going. It's above Dirty Dancing for me.
It's not above Dirty Dancing for me.
Adam?
Oh no, Dirty Dancing's better.
Okay, Dirty Dancing kept it down.
Wait a minute. What did you give Dirty Dancing?
Actually, no, yeah, I gave it a 7, so yeah, it's above, yeah.
Oh, it's above.
God, it's above. Adam, what are you doing? Now, just have a think for a minute. Upgrade. Just have a think, because it's been there a long while.
Better.
Upgrade is better.
Hang on. Well, decision made if you say. I said to think for a minute, and you both went, Upgrade's better. Yeah, I'm asking you to critically just have a think. What is it better, though?
Upgrade is solid. Very solid.
All right, well, there it is.
Even more solid
ladies and gentlemen, it sits below Upgrade. So the only films rated 8 that are better than Copland are Upgrade and then Black Panther. So there we go. It sits sort of around the mid-table-ish point. It's like 43, 44, which is okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. So pretty good. Shall we hear from our listeners?
Yes, let's go to what our listeners have to say.
Go on.
We got people sending in from Twitter about what they thought of Copland. First of all, we have Lee Hallam, and he says, along with First Blood, Sly's best acting in my opinion. The director's cut is small but sweet on the extra movie. Top draw. Well, I said that as well. Sly's best acting. I think it might be for me as well.
There you go. I'm not sure it was. Well, it's up there. Maybe. Yeah.
Next up, we have TV Travis. They said underrated flick there. James Mangold is solid as a director. Even when he does stuff in a genre I don't care about much, I find his work good. Kate and Leopold as an example.
Yes.
Haven't seen that film.
Haven't seen Kate and Leopold.
No.
Comic Book Discuss say Copland was so damn good.
That's it. That's
Yep.
all we needed to say. I'm Too Cool says, watched it a few years back. 5-ish years, apparently. One of Stallone's truly good films and genuinely compelling stuff with a strong cast. Absolutely agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Next up, we have our patron, Jamie Russell. He says, I remember the acting being stellar and Stallone really going against his type and showing frailty. No hyper-masculinity on display here. His scenes with De Niro sticks out for me. When you had your chance and you blew it, you blew it.
You blew it. You blew it.
The amount of times I've heard Julio say this, and now I just know where it's from.
Oh, I didn't even clock that he was saying it from this.
Yeah, he must be, because he says it exactly the same.
You blew it. You
blew it.
De Niro, I love you. Steve Price says, I just watched it for the first time a couple of months ago, and damn, not sure why I slept on this one for 25 years, but I did. It's a slow simmer that is at its best during the build-up, which makes the climax that much more satisfying. Stallone legitimately at his best. There we go, we're all aligned pretty much here.
Yeah, you got it right. Slow simmer, Steve, you're right. And lastly, we have Neil Byrne. He says, great film. Been years since I've seen it, but it has such an amazing cast, and it's just so well acted and put together. Must watch it again.
There we go. Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
Do you boys want to know where it lands in my overall De Niro rankings?
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
Because I have a little list, currently at 68 De Niro films. So it's in the 8s, and the 8s start at number 21 with American Hustle. It's better than that. Number 20, Jackie Brown. It's better than that, but that's where it stops. It's above Jackie Brown for me. Number 19. But see, the thing is, I'm judging it based on the whole film, not necessarily just on De Niro's performance, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But above that is Awakenings, in case you're interested.
Oh, Awakenings, yeah.
So that's where it positions. So, boys, listen, we've come to the end of 1997. So I think it's only fair that we do what we did for 87 and just reflect on 97 with a few questions to find out our lowlights. Well, not our lowlights, our highlights of the run.
Okay.
So first of all, our favourite films of 97. Adam, your favourite film of 97?
Well, I'd have to say, I think The Full Monty was.
Whoa, Full Monty, number one for Adam. Very good. Paul?
I'd have to say The Game.
You do have to say The Game.
Wonderful fucking film. I love it.
And me, I say Copland. So we got a nice spread there.
Oh, wow.
We got a lovely spread there. Isn't that very nice?
That is a very nice spread.
Boys, what scene or moment from all of these 97 films best defines it for you?
For me, it's Batman sliding down a dinosaur.
For me, it's also from Batman and Robin, and it's the close-ups on the arse and latex suits as they pull it on. I just like that it was like a less serious but kind of cheesy, naive look at ourselves. The world was about to change in the 21st century, and shit like that could still slide. So
I was thinking, how is that going to relate to 97 and the rest of the films? Yes. I'm going to say the full Monty gang revealing themselves and being comfortable with themselves at the end, because I think a lot of these films revolve around male masculinity and like being comfortable with yourself.
I feel like I underestimated by just having Batman slide down a dinosaur now.
that is true. Our four films were all, generally speaking, about men in crisis in some way, weren't they? Unintentionally. The Game, he has to reflect on his life because he's just cut off everyone. He's obsessed with wealth. Batman and Robin, well, that was men, supermen doing their supermen thing.
Yeah.
And Full Monty, as you say, and Copland's, yeah, the no authority male, ineffectual male, all these corrupt men. Yeah.
Indeed.
Interesting. Very good. And who was your favourite character from the 97 films?
I'm going to say Robert De Niro's lovable curly-haired detective.
Oh, I'm going to say Stallone.
Oh,
Copland.
Yes.
Ooh.
Equally as good, yes.
I think I have to go to Nero as well.
Oh, all our favourites are from Copland. Look at that.
No, that's nice.
And what about your favourite line?
Cigarette me, for fuck's sake.
You do like that one,
Full
innit?
Monty.
Very good one. Adam?
You're not sending me to the cooler. I'm
Very
not very good
good.
at accents.
And my one is, of course, you blew it. You blew it.
Of fucking course it is.
There's no way it wasn't going to be.
Yeah. Gotta love it. I love that they're all from 3 different films. That's good.
Nice spread there. So we bid farewell to 1997.
Goodbye, 97. You've been wonderful.
Where do we travel to next?
Right. Well, we're being taken to a new year by our wonderful patron, Julio. He has taken us to the year 1993. And we are doing Manhattan Murder Mystery by Woody Allen. He loves a bit of Woody Allen, this guy.
He loves Woody Allen, and we are going to cover Woody Allen for the first time on the podcast. We've had conversations about potentially doing this in the past, but we've kind of held back. But now my hands are tied, but they're behind my back. I'm thinking my hands are tied. And we must do it. And I'm looking forward to it. There's a number of Woody Allen films that I like, and there's a number of Woody Allen films that I really don't like. So I'll be interested to see where this falls.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got 93. We've got the round 93 coming up, and I can't even remember what's in 93. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know what I'm going to choose.
I'll be picking first after that, won't I?
Yes, you will.
You will.
Ooh, sport for choice. I know something that came out that year, so I think I might drop that.
Lovely.
Excellent. Well, look forward to that. And Nerd Revert, thank you for kicking us off for 1997. Very much appreciated it. What a great run of films we've had.
It was a great run. Thank you. Right, shall we move on to our patrons have to say?
Yes. What have they been watching?
Okay, we've got 2 people who have sent in what they've been watching, the best and worst of this week. First, we have Katie and Oti, and they say, a HBO Max show, Minx. The prominent element of white feminism can get frustrating, but the overall quality and depth of characters in this show make this a strong recommend. Couple of eps deep and already in love. And then she put a little aubergine and a squirty emoji.
Of course she did. She's Katie.
Of course she did. She loves it. Minx, eh?
I would like to know what white feminism is.
White feminism.
Any thoughts?
Prominent element of white. Well, it's probably like it's to me.
It sounds like.
To me, it sounds like a Karen.
Next up, Jamie Russell. I will climb aboard the Filmbusters Boiling Point bandwagon too, at last. The one take completely adds to the experience rather than being a gimmick. It sweeps you up in the events as they unfold, adding to the sense of chaos and energy. All acting is brilliant. Graham is superb in a complex lead role. He starts off full of Ramsey-style aggression and control, but ultimately shows a wide range of emotions, including guilt and vulnerability. He is wonderful in it. He is. We talk a lot about how great the film is and how wonderful patron Barantini is, but Stephen Graham is fantastic. It's not a one-man show, but he's the focal point of the whole fucking thing, and he holds it down big time. I bet he was sweating buckets while they were making that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Feels like a sweaty man.
We've spoken so
Under
much
pressure.
about Boiling Point, but there you go. We've been talking about Boiling Point since fucking
September.
London Film Festival, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any film has pervaded our conversations as much as this one has. 6 months of conversation.
Thanks to Philip Barantini.
Cheers, Philip Barantini.
Right, guys, that is the end of 1997, and that's the end of this episode.
Wow. Goodbye, 97.
Goodbye, 97, and thank you everyone for listening. Remember, you can go and check out our Patreon episode at www.patreon.com/filmbusters, where we're doing our monthly roundup of this month. And apart from that, you can just wait and see us in Manhattan Murder Mystery.
We'll get in our little time machine and go back.
We're going to travel back to a time when masculinity was not in crisis. So I guess in 93, masculinity was doing all right?
Maybe. Who knows? Anything can happen in this film that we've never seen.
Yes, anything could happen. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I have, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have some good combos out of this one, I think.
Definitely. Right, guys.
All right, lovelies. See you
later.
See you on the other side, lovelies.
Bye.
Filmbusters.